Hello and a very good evening. Welcome to ELITETV. You're watching Open Debate in English. I'm Chongtham Amrita, and today we're going to be debating and discussing on the topic Water Resources Department looted Rs 460 crores as alleged by the MPCC president today. A devastating flood is now raging in Manipur. Imphal East is one of the worst affected, followed by Kangpokpi district, Senapati district and Jirbam districts. About 3,365 houses are reported to be damaged and nearly 20,000 lives are affected by it. And till now, already 1,599 people, almost 1,600 people, are living in makeshift relief camps in safer areas. 2 persons are now injured and almost 65 cattle have died. This is a very heavy loss and immense suffering of the affected people. Last year as well, there were 3 consecutive equally devastating floods. Why such devastating floods are allowed to recur within a span of 1 to 2 years? Because although the flood is an unavoidable calamity, the authorities concerned could have made it less devastating by doing routine checks, timely checks on the riverbanks. Now, the government now focuses only on evacuation, relief measures, etc., but not on prevention. It should start with prevention first of all. Evacuation activities, they do get a lot of media attraction and coverage and publicity, but it does not solve the problem. This is just a superficial and also an instant relief measures, but the real issues and the real problem can only be prevented by taking up preventive works. The question is why preventive works have not been taken up yet. Are we getting used to being flooded every single year? What about the next year? What about the next? Yesterday, the MPCC President Sri K. Megachandra has strongly accused the Water Resources Department of having looted Rs 460 crores given by the Union Ministry for flood management under the Jal Shakti in 2022. The said amount was meant to be utilized in 2023 in works related to flood management. He is now questioning how and where the huge amount was utilized, or was all the money looted? It's a questionable and also a very reasonable question, because if such an amount has been sanctioned from the Union Ministry to particularly look into the matter for flood management, and now looking at the devastation that the city has been feeling and reeling under currently, the question does arise why and where the works of flood management related works have been done. All the local newspapers are also carrying these news as front pages, but the crux of the matter is, was there any preventive works done? Why not? And is it too late to do any preventive works at this moment? We are here to discuss the mismanagement of funds and also flood management. To discuss and debate on this matter, first let us take a moment to welcome and introduce our panelists for tonight. Our first panelist for tonight is Oja Dr. Naorem Bobo, media spokesperson for DMCC. Oja, welcome to Open Debate. Our second speaker for tonight is joining us from South Korea, Oja Jinine Laishramcha, assistant professor, University of Suwon. Oja, welcome to Open Debate.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And our third speaker for tonight is joining us from Taiwan, Oja Dr. Shantikumar, Professor of English for Hongkuo Delin University. Oja, welcome to Open Debate.
Thank you, Amrita, for having me.
Thank you all once again and very welcome to Open Debate. I'll first start with Oja Bobo. Oja, you may have heard from my opening remarks regarding the allegations given by MPCC President. He points out that 460 crore rupees were specifically sanctioned just to manage flood management in Imphal. And also he also mentions one company, which is the Bharatiya Infra Project Limited, that this have been sanctioned out of the 460 crores, some amount have been sanctioned to this company for flood management, which was supposed to be carried out in 2023. The thing is any work completed so far? Because we cannot see any concrete results. Just the example is right here in front of us, as the whole city, whole Imphal city and all other districts are now suffering and reeling from the devastation of this massive flood. My question is to Oja Bobo, what were the flood management related works done? Where was it done? Was it done only on paper? If it was done only on paper, should an investigation be carried out regarding this? What are your thoughts?
Firstly, thank you, Amrita, and to my two respected speakers, and to all the viewers of Elite. See, Amrita, regarding this the flood which recently has occurred in Manipur, see, human being cannot challenge the this disaster of natural disaster. So many part of around the world, that even the developed countries like Japan, Korea, and US and European countries, they also face the natural disasters of floods, earthquakes, and etc. But the question which you have raised is here. It is true that why it has not been done if the project has been, the sanction of the amount has been delivered to the state government, and where was it done and why it is not so. So in this particular case, we should also look into the matter that most of the Manipur cases, most of the Manipur project, and even the current conflicts between these two so-called Kuki-Jo and the Metis communities, or this has been a major factor of this corruption. One of the most major factor is the corruption. So we like to give attention to all the, not only to the Congress party, but to all this BJP leaderships, and as well as to the central government, that what are the projects taken this flood-like situation in Imphal or other part of Manipur. We should also see the scenario of floods beyond Imphal Valley also, like other part of the hill areas, other part of the Manipur, as collectively. Not we should always focus on the Imphal Valley. This may be the reason that many factors or many political situation which has arisen in Manipur. Let us see that today the Congress party is arise about the 400 something crore, 60 crore has been sanctioned to the project so-called to protect from the flood situation in Imphal, to do the barricades or some project that's which has been sanctioned. But we also need to see that implementation of this project has been done in honestly or in a very manner that every work has been completed in a given time, or in the nature that most of the project which has been signed, as you have mentioned, that in the paperwork and the project has not been delivered. So in 2024-25, subject to correction, the budget of this Manipur water supply and sanitization is 2,222 crores, and so including this project Jal Jeevan Mission and Amrit 2 and others 9 water supply project also. This was the budget, and which you have said that over 460 crore which has been sanctioned to protect the flood and the situation like flood or any natural calamities, including the river banks, that Bharat Infra project has already sanctioned 168 crores. So in my view that we should start from the project that not the company also, but from the root cause of the root concern department and to all the higher authorities level to see in this matter, to look into matter, not only when we have such a natural calamities or not only when we have some disastrous condition. We should begin from the day one itself, that what is the project and what are the sanctions of amount, where are the projects given and where are the places to be implemented. So this should be the first step which we should have taken out, so that in future that we can prevent or that something which is useful to the society or something which is to be honestly done the job properly. So, in my view, that whenever there is a disaster, whenever there is a problem arise by the concern or to something which outbreak to the media or something, when there is politician has come up for a claim, only then the matter of this project or something that which is given from the center or something in the state, that we always highlight in the media, or we always come into that concern that project that this has been not done yet, or this has been not given properly. We only analyze on the result of that, but we should also analyze from the day one itself, so that the project or the implementation of the work of the public department should be complete honestly and properly. So let me complete by this on this first.
Yes, indeed, there should be a transparency or some sort of a measures that account for transparency in how the government does their project, especially regarding sanctions of such an issue, which can cause immediate and instant devastation to the general public. I'll take that point to Oja Jinine, and Oja, as Oja Bobo has also highlighted some of the issues that is surrounding the flood management in respect to the Water Resources Department. My question to you is that since almost 168 crores have been said to be utilized by this said particular company on paper, that remains almost 292 crores with the Water Resources Department. The question is, the public wants to know, especially if this amount is still with the Water Resources Department, have they been utilized for flood management purposes, and can they still be utilized at such a calamity where Manipur is reeling under currently? Since the past few days, can this amount be utilized for relief measures, for relocation and evacuation, and also to bridge such riverbanks which have been bridged? And also regarding the projects that have been mentioned that we are discussing currently, should an investigation be carried out whether the project has been completed really in reality, or it has been completed on just paper? Because the time is now the right time to really hold persons accountable, whether be it in the Water Resources Department or any other company. Someone should be held accountable, even though we can say that flood calamities or other natural disasters, even though they are natural, but with the help or with the timely and routine checks of the departments or the authorities concerned, such scale of devastation can be reduced. What are your thoughts, Oja Jinine?
Yeah, so you mentioned very rightly. So the happening is rather looks like that rather than the natural disaster like a flood or it's a kind of a hydrological event. It looks like anthropological activity, like it involves the human activities, and particularly in terms of the governance and administration, and generally we say corruption. So the story is kind of that repeating over and over. So such kind of case or incident is not new. So it's been around the decades, and it's very, very unfortunate when we come to the quality of the administration. So our bad experience with the the corruption, a kind of a government that ruled by the stealing and misuses of the power and the public money. And of course, yes, this flood event reminds us of the investigate, or that to book and just towards the giving that befitting punishment, because such kind of bad experience is happening time and again. And other than that, in terms of how many crores misused or used in a very unfair way, and here I would like to just say that the happening in Manipur, so in terms of like hydrological event or meteorological kind of happening, the flood, we can ask a small question like, what is the quality of preparedness by government?
Right.
So like early warning system, and we have known that such event, devastating disaster will happen. So there has been alarm, and it's been like over the 30 years. And the time, and we know the place, and we know the meteorological evidence, but government and administration fail to take up appropriate action. So the vulnerability is very, very high, like misuse of the resources in terms of they have money and also manpower. So here I would like to just bring up challenges. So such challenges is very, very massive and deep rooted, and the government, yes, as you mentioned, it is the right time to remind them again and use some judicial activity to prevent their corrupt action and behavior in the future, because government has or related department has enough resource, manpower, but they have not taken up proper actions. So of course this is the right time. And in terms of the preparedness, it is, I think, easy for the government and the related country, because as I mentioned before, we knew that it would happen. The places, we know the spots and the location, and we know the timing. Like June is in Manipur in the monsoon season, we can predict very easily, but administration fail over and over. So, for example, a simple kind of activities, for example, gathering in advance like pebbles or sandbags or some other art materials, and because people, I mean locals and administration know that the weak places over the river banks, and also sometimes we call it rivers, but in Manipur, in Imphan Valley, rivers are, I think, very, very small. It's
Right.
like it's like streams. So I mean, my point is that this is not like a big Herculean kind of activity. It is small and can manage and handle it completely in an easy way, but because of the negligence and because of the kleptocracy, I mean the corruption, we fail again. And that's the kind of short-term measurement, short-term initiative preparedness, in terms of the preparedness. And as we experienced over the last 3 decades, and the policy and the program, there are, I think, government policies and programs to manage and control such kind of hydrological event, or in terms of disaster, like in long term, like divergent and making channels. And around the Imphal, I think we have enough wetland. We call it reservoirs, and also like government should have taken like embankment or making retailing walls, but I don't know. So the thing is that sometimes I don't feel like to talk about this, because things are repeating over and over unnecessarily. So of course, yes, we should just give some kind of judicial and in terms of people response, and we have to make noises for neglecting and not controlling or managing such kind of that devastating disaster that's absolutely man-made activity. and particularly we can say this is the man-made activity by particularly government authorities and concerned departments. So yeah, that is my opinion.
Yes, indeed, Oja, and you also provided some of the measures that can be implemented in order to prevent this. The question is, the preventive measures seems to be very far out of the minds of whoever is concerned, especially the departments concerned, and it seems to be that the departments and even the officials are busy doing mostly rescue work and evacuation work whenever a calamity occurs, instead of focusing on the root cause and doing some preventive works. And I will put this question to Oja Shantikumar. Oja, why do you think it is that every time a calamity occurs, everyone rushes to do some symptomatic, in this case, there is evacuation work, relief measures, people are being rescued, and still a lot of the people are still trying to restore the bridged riverbanks. Why was this not done in the dry season? Because even last year, if we remember, there have been 3 consecutive floods that really devastated the whole of the Imphal state, and we knew at that time that such vulnerable areas were there during those times. In last year itself, I think some authorities could have taken it as their project to restore such weak areas, and whenever there is a rainy season, eventually this is going to occur. So since last year we had already faced a devastating flood, why not they do such preventive works during the dry season? Why only flood management and rescue works are being rushed whenever the damage is done? Oja Shantikumar, your thoughts?
First of all, a very good evening to my dear panelists, Amrita, and all the viewers in Manipur as well as abroad. Amrita, the incidents of this flooding in Manipur, the flood incidents or the phenomena, is like a cancer disease, where doctors are really not giving the right medicine, but they are just giving the like aspirin or paracetamol or painkillers, instead of finding the root cause, the cancer itself. And the first thing is they have to, the Manipur government has to diagnose what are the causes of this flood, why this flood is recurring, happening almost every year now, right?
Yes.
Last year it happened, now this year again happened almost the same time. Why this flood incident is happening more and more frequently? Yeah, the reason, I think, is of course we cannot stop natural disasters. We cannot stop, we cannot avoid, but we can minimize, we can lessen the impact or destruction or damages it causes. So I think our government is not really treating the patient, the cancer patient. Cancer patients need chemotherapy and the radiation therapy. But instead of giving this medication, these treatments, our government is just giving Manipur the temporary medicines like aspirin and paracetamol and painkillers, but this can never cure the patient, right? Oja Bobo is here, he knows better than me. So a patient, if we like to cure the patient, we need to diagnose, we need to find out the root causes, and then we have to give the right medication. But this is not doing in Manipur. So Manipur is so much focused on, right now, building the walls, river banks, filling up muds and dirt and stones and trying to stop the water flow. And then also trying to rescuing people, and also trying to, provide affected people like relief camps and all. This is the money sanctioned 460 crores is a big money. this money is not sanctioned for using only during the flood for affected areas, for the affected people, and for building the walls. No, this money was given in advance so that these flooding incidents can be avoided by preparing well, by building infrastructure earlier, when there was time, when there was money. So I don't know if I should give you some ways. I think I'll take the chance to propose some ways
Sure.
what Manipur government can do. The first one is, we need to construct flood or water management infrastructure when it is possible, when the money is sanctioned and given to build for that. And like flood management or water management infrastructure, like water barriers, barrages, and dams. These are some of the important infrastructures we need to let the water stop, or to let the water flow slowly, or to control the water flow during the flood. And during the drought, this infrastructure will stop the water, and the water can be used for farming or for using at home.
Mhm.
This should be done that way. But number two is, we need to dig out the riverbeds. The riverbeds are full of sediment and rocks and the stones, and brought by water, brought by river, heavy rainwater time to time. And these need to be dig out and clean up from the riverbed so that water can flow next time very freely. This should be done. And the third point is very important. This one is very important. This is what we do here in Taiwan. This is what we do here in Japan, in Korea, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, to build up the riverbank walls, the riverbanks or the walls or the fencing, to build it higher in both sides so that water doesn't flow out of the river during the flooding time. This is what we do here in Taiwan. So, and then these walls, these river banks, these walls are not only built to protect the water from running out from the rivers, from the river, but also these high walls are used as roads in
Okay.
Taiwan, in Korea.
Okay.
So, yeah, 2 lanes, 2-lane roads are made. These walls are made as a road. And one side is for going downstream, and the other side of the river is upstream. That means 2 ways. Both sides, one way down, one way up. This way, there's no traffic congestion.
Mhm.
And the other one is number 4 point. What the Manipur government can do is to construct well-planned drainage and sewage structures in the city, in the Imphal city and towns and nearby Imphal city. So because of this, we don't have all these things. It's so easy. If a little bit rain comes, then the Imphal city is flooded already. This is very shame on the government of Manipur. This shouldn't happen. If it rains for a few hours, then the whole city will be flooded. What kind of water management or system we have? So that means we don't have. So we need to build up these infrastructures, and we need to get ready in advance so that we don't face these flooding problems. And because of this, they only are busy running around now to rescue people and to take them to relief camps and the promising words on social media or on TV. They will provide this, or they will give this, they will help this. But these are not useful because the damage has been done already. We cannot recover. We cannot bring back whatever gone. Gone is gone. So in the future, not to avoid such things, I think the Manipur government should should consider those few points I just proposed. And this is what we do here in Taiwan, in the far eastern country. So, you know, Taiwan is one of the countries where a lot of typhoons
Right.
every year.
Right.
You know, one big typhoon can bring how much water, you know? In 3-4 hours, it can bring 1,000 to 3,000 millimeters of water. Imagine how much this water is. And that will be just poured. In Manipuri, we say, this water, this much big water will be poured into the city or town wherever the typhoon covers. But why there is no flood? Why there is no flooding in the city, in the towns in Taiwan? Because the drainage system, the river systems are clean and clear. The water will be, you know, stagnant for few hours, and then immediately it will be washed away. It will be, you know, it will go to the lakes or to the rivers or to the ocean. So this kind of system, even though we have a lot of typhoons and we have a lot of rain, more rain in Taiwan than Manipur, we also have rain in the winter. But why Taiwan doesn't face this flooding problem? So I will put this way, Amrita.
Yes, indeed, Oja. I think we took such examples are necessary for the public, in fact, to draw some comparison and utilize it and to fit it into the context of Manipur. I'll pose this question to Oja Bobo once again. Oja Jinine has also mentioned, and Oja Shantikumar, similar points regarding what to do in case of flood management before a flooding occurs. I think I also agree that Manipur is not a really very big place. The rivers are not very big. The river is not even as big as the Brahmaputra, where Assam is now even currently facing devastating flood. It's not that big. There are 3 major rivers that run through Imphal, which is the Iril, the Imphal and the Nambul. These rivers are the ones that are causing the significant damage whenever there is a rainy season. So, taking examples from such countries like Taiwan or South Korea, who are managing flood really well, what can be tailored to fit into the context of Manipur? Because if we look at the aerial image, the satellite image and the aerial image of all the drainage basins of the river in Imphal, the meanders are there's a lot of obstructions in the meanders of the river, the way that it flows, because whenever there is human settlement and the natural flow of the river is obstructed, naturally such occurrences can be observed regarding flood. The river banks get weakened, and there's a lot of things. So according to you, Oja, what engineering technology can be utilized that we can draw the inspiration from such countries as Taiwan or South Korea to improve the river banks, to improve the drainage systems within Manipur? What can be the hurdles? Because we already know that such an amount of finances have already been sanctioned that can be done. Manipur does not have skyscrapers. Manipur does not have a subway system. It's a very simple project if there is a will for the department authorities to do it. What are your thoughts, Oja Bobo? What would you say to that?
Yes, Amrita, indeed, river of Manipur is not as big as that in Taiwan or in Korea or as in Brahmaputra, other part of the countries. But see, some of the flood which we are facing today is one of the factors is that it's a man-made, because you see the Nambul River in Imphal, you see the Imphal River and the Naga Nala, which has been here long. There has been no cleaning or no preparation for any flood or any natural calamities, and the concerned authorities is the government which is looking after all this. So most of the concerned department have never concerned or never thought of this almost throughout the years. Only when there is a natural disaster or a flood or something which has been happening, then most of them have come out. Even the politicians, they never come out for such cleaning up before the rainy season or monsoon season.
Right.
But they come out, all of them have come out when there is a flood or some river bank has been broken up or something. They'll come out with a big JCB and some of the sand bags or all the social, whosoever is. But what my concern is that why don't we prepare pre-monsoon? Or why don't we do a social work during this dry season? Why don't the social worker or so-called leaders, why don't they come out and clean up this Nambool River or clean up the Imphal River basins, which are very vulnerable to the flood-prone areas? So, looking to other part of the countries, other part of say Manipur is in fact. Indeed, it is a very beautiful place and where the climates are in very good, favorable conditions for us. Not it is extremely cold or we don't have like snowfall in other part of the countries like even in Korea or even in Russia, America, we have even in the winter we have a snowfall which the concern of the day clean up immediately for safety of the public. So in Manipur, it is not that has like in other part of the country, other part of state. We don't have snowfall. We don't have that much as a rainy season has like in Kerala, like in this Shillong. So we have the ability to prepare. But the main concern is that who are those people responsible for it and who are those concerned department who have taken up the salary, who have taken up this sanction of the budget to prepare for all this. So, in my view, that it is the high responsibility of the government as well as the concerned authorities from the root to the bottom. They should work sincerely without corruption, and then only we can have a safe and clean city in Imphal. Not only in Imphal, we can also look after all this other part of the hill areas in this Manipur. Then we can unite it and we can face together, even if the natural disaster came. But we have a different views that some part of the hills, the concerned authorities, they never reach there. It's a frankly speaking, they never reach there. They have only the paperwork has been done. So what is going on there, never knows. People never knows that only when some of the media person, they went and they highlight only that some of the villagers who have been staying for many thousands years, they have highlighted about it. Like, let's talk about Kotha village. That the Meitei village, only Meitei village who is settled in the hill areas. Only when the media highlighted, or only when there is a festival, people come to know about it.
Right.
It's an example about it. So when the hill areas are fully developed or fully prepared for this, or fully, let us say about, they have the full knowledge of the climate changes, they have full knowledge of the soil erosion, when they have full knowledge of the tree plantation, only then Imphal Valley can be saved. We how much we build up in the Imphal Valley, how much we have done for it, but until unless there is no safe or there is no this proper maintenance in the hill areas, that Imphal Valley would not be able to save from any disaster. Thank you. Let me complete this, Amrita, in this.
Yes, indeed. Very good point that you've raised, Oja Bobo. I'll take that to Oja Jinine once again. Oja, we are now still talking about the measures that can be taken to manage and prevent flood, even though not 100%. A lot of the devastation can be reduced if some measures were taking into context the nature and the soil of Manipur, the climate of Manipur, the way that the river flows, and how the human uses water as well. So taking all of that into context, a lot can be done using the help of technology, the engineers, everyone. Today it was reported that the Union Home Minister had a telephonic call with the governor, and then he also assured a lot of all the kind of assistance regarding whoever is affected by flood, which is a really good step. So since the Home Minister also has this issue in his mind, the 460 crores was just to prevent flood, yearly flood, whenever it occurs. What if the union government sanctions a bigger amount to build such a structure like the river canals in the foothills, or such structures as you mentioned in your previous round, and also as Shantikumar has highlighted how river banks can be built, and even it can be built in such a way to reduce traffic as well. What can be done within the Imphal city that benefits everyone? The traffic, the river, the devastation of the flood is reduced, and also people can still live without such scale of devastation happening. So even the Home Minister, they can and even the Finance Minister can sanction a bigger amount to really organize, to really streamline and build a bigger infrastructure project, so that Imphal, especially the Imphal Valley, has some protection from any future flooding if any occurs. What are your thoughts?
I have been hearing, that kind of announcement from the both New Delhi and government of Manipur over the last 30 years. And at the first time, we get the news, we are happy. But next moment or next year, so things are coming out as just a ritual kind of tokenism, like just something printed in the newspapers. So yes, the news looks good, but let's see what can be done in terms of commitment and in terms of the functioning kind of their implementation. And one thing is that, as I told you before, that the river system is I think it's not very challenging, because it's like 3 streams, not that very big, as you and other speaker already mentioned. So what we need is sincerity and a commitment. So political commitment is concerned, and luckily, Imphal, let's say in Imphal Valley, there are wetlands, water bodies, natural, but urbanization, of Imphal urbanization is very poor, very unfortunate. So, like, we say Imphal city, smart Imphal city, whatever, those fancy names and the terms, but administration, as I mentioned before again and again, administration is really unfortunate. So if government administration, they are active and they have the commitment and the sincerity, I think they have resources, they can the problem or challenges can be reduced at a very meaningful or positive and effective level. But we have been witnessing corruption, the failure of the administration. And I remember one thing during this flood, many people they say that, oh, it's very unfortunate because they don't know to whom approached for the complaint. They say that we don't have so-called popular government. So this psychological trend and this behavior from some section of people is very unfortunate. Like public popular government, so-called popular government is here substituted by we have administration, district administration, and we have water management department, we have governor. And why we are crying with a very misunderstanding tone of we don't have popular government? Even the time we had popular government, so-called popular government, same thing was happening. I mean, kleptocracy, full of corruption, misuse of the power, public money. So here the key thing is the sincerity and the political commitment. And the challenge may be like multiple factors are there in the challenges. For example, when we talk about like political corruption, then electoral activities during the election time is very much concerned. So the culprit of such kind of disaster, one of the culprits is we public, we voters. During the election time, this is a kind of, again, a ritual kind of practice. We enjoy taking 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, and now we are crying for, where are the MLAs, where are our representatives? So, 21st century, or that we are living in such a globalized and high-tech IT world. This is not like 1980s, 1970s. I mean, we are very, very much informative. People, villagers, living in Imphal, we all equally informative. We know what's wrong, what is right, what is corruption, what is bad, what is good. But as I mentioned before that, we public, we voters are one of the culprits of such kind of disaster and such kind of nightmare. So already it's late, but electoral politics and political culture, if we have, those leaders who are really, really and truly patriotic, and if we electors are really patriotic, then we love our motherland, Manipur, then we should not do any kind of such kind of malpractices like bribery or taking money. But in the name of patriotism, I think every one of us commits very, very funny, ridiculous crimes and offenses, and next moment we cry and we are pointing our fingers at someone else. So we must understand the challenge is we have our contribution, and also we should take our responsibility as a public electorals. And New Delhi, of course, they have the big stake and political culture. So candidates and MLAs, they should not repeat dirty games. But the thing is that during the election time, a candidate must spend not lakhs, 10 crores of the rupees. If one already spend 10 crores of rupees, he or she is going to do something really, really against the society and really against the norms of the progressive development. So we general public including understand, and we should change. And next monsoon we must show something, we can demonstrate some positive, meaningful activities in terms of our actions and behaviors. Otherwise things will remain. So yeah, that's my concern, Amrit.
Yes, indeed. I think, Oja, the point that you raised remains undisputed. Ultimately, it is our voter habits that pick the leaders, and it is those leaders' incompetency that leads us to such devastation, and all of the things that especially the people of Manipur, reeling under first with the COVID pandemic in the 2020, and then this big unresolved issue that started from 2023 of May. And then since last year and again this year, there's this such a devastation of flood, still homes being swept away, lives really completely completely relocating to another place. It will be a huge task to rebuild our previous lives. So I think ultimately they are all related, and I think the point that you raised, Oja, I think it's truly undisputed. Now, moving on with our closing remarks to the last section of today's debate, I will raise this question to Oja Shantikumar, that you have already given all of the measures that can be done by the government of Manipur. Now, there is a saying that in Manipur, during the dry season, we buy potable water, we pay for water. And again, during the rainy season, there is this calamity. It's like we don't know how to manage the usage and the storage of water. You have also given earlier some examples where some barrages can be built, where the water can be stored for the year, all year round, that can be used for irrigation, for drinking purposes, that can be used for electricity and all the other. It's like there is no coordination between such a structure. We hear that yesterday in the news reports, it's been said that the Itai barrage have been recently repaired, but still there is one gate that could not be repaired. It looks like the things that needs to be taken up in a very fast manner, they are very slow. And also, why do we still have shortage of water in the dry season, and there is an excess of flooding in the wet? It's like there is a big mismanagement in the storage and delivery of water. What would you recommend to that, Oja Shantikumar?
Yeah, besides those few points I just mentioned before, what our government can do, I think some of the points are, actually, if those mentioned points are, accomplished, those things like construction of flood, water management structures, digging out and cleaning the riverbeds, and build up the riverbanks where people can drive cars, and also construct well planned, drainage and sewage and the systems. Besides those things, I think what the government can do is like, yes, you're right. Unfortunately, very right, because in summer we don't, in the dry season we don't have water. In the monsoon season we have a lot of water, but we still cannot use because we are flooded. So both ways, we are not really doing the right things. So to avoid such things in the future, I think the Manipur government has to have a long plan, policies, roadmap, and the projects. That we cannot focus on the temporary problem. As long as we focus on the temporary problems and we try to solve the problem, this flooding incidents will come again and again, and this will affect the people of Manipur. You see how pathetic, how terribly I feel sorry, because for the last more than 2 years, people have suffered so much. They have no money, no job, they cannot move freely. And now again, even inside the city, inside the valley, people cannot move freely. And in spite of losing all their, properties in Chuchampur, in More, and other Kuki inhabited areas, now these people again suffer in the valley. People have again lost animals, livestock, fish farms, and then roads, houses are destroyed, and all these are happening again above those 2 years of conflict, 2 years of suffering. So I think time has come for the government of Manipur to think deeper and seriously how to avoid such things. But in this case here, only the government cannot do. Government needs to work together with the public, with the public, and also, as Oja Bobo mentioned, hills and the valley also need to work together, because we work so hard to construct all this infrastructure in the plain area, but nothing happens in the hills, like deforestation.
Right.
Then we cannot again control the natural disasters, right? So we need to work together, hills and the valley together, and governments and the public together. Then I like to tell this one to the public. Public needs to be aware. Like, for example, they shouldn't be greedy. Because of their greediness, they bury the drainage. They occupy the drainage, they make it smaller and smaller, and finally bury. Finally, no drainage at all. And this is one very big problem in Imphal city and in the towns, in the valley. Then number 2 point, people people, civilians should, this one is not only civilians, but the high authority people and officers all together.
Right.
Don't throw out waste products, like especially like clothes and plastics products into the water, into the river, into the drainage, because not only it obstructs the drainage and seaways, but also it even stops the water barriers like barrage, Itai barrage, and so Itai barrage couldn't open this time, right? Because too many things stuck there. So to avoid such things, and public also should take responsibility not to throw such things into the Nambu River or whatever river or streams or drainage. I think if we do this way, I think we can minimize. We cannot say we can stop. No, we cannot. Natural disaster, we cannot stop. But we can minimize, we can lessen the impact, the destruction and damages caused by floods. I would say it this way, Amrita.
Yes, indeed, Oja. That's a very good recommendation that you have given. Now we are almost at the end of today's program. We were discussing regarding how the Congress President have alleged that the Water Resources Department looted rupees 460 crores. And in the context, we have discussed regarding flood management in Imphal and how some engineering technologies can be utilized to make such flood management easier in the future, because we have already seen such devastations of flood last year, 3 times to be precise, and now we are still reeling under this devastation of flood. But we cannot tell if there is a flood again in the later part of the year, or maybe there is another flood that's almost incoming next year. If such preventative measures are not taken up timely, there could be much worse that can happen. So we have been discussing a lot of engaging themes regarding flood management, and that especially the point that all of the government departments need thorough cooperation, especially the water resources, the municipal and urban departments as well, and even the forest department to have this full coordination, because whatever happens regarding deforestation and soil erosion in the hill areas, the valley areas do suffer greatly. But this time it's not just the valley areas who are suffering from flood, because even Senapati district, Kangpokpi district are suffering greatly in this devastation, which really shows that the deforestation impacts and soil erosion impacts are really damaging us more harm than we imagine. And I think before it is too late, it is time to really reconstruct and rethink how to really bring back such erosions back to its normal place. With that, I will conclude today's program. I would like to thank our speakers, Oja Dr. Naorem Bobo, Oja Jinine Laishramcha, and also Oja Dr. Shantikumar for joining us. Thank you all once again.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you. And I would like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight. We will be back again tomorrow with more exciting topics. Keep watching ELITETV. This is Amrita signing off for tonight. Have a good night.